If you're just joining us, this is the Thunderfunking DotaCast, and I am Cranberry Thunderfunk. This is Game 3 of a best of 3 between Fnatic and Team Liquid in the RaidCall D2L Season 3. Right now, it's tied up 1-1. Fnatic took a 11-minute GG in Game 1 with super aggressive lineup. They got the Chen on notail, and notail allowed for some fantastic early aggression versus Team Liquid's very late game oriented lineup and a somewhat questionable Tusk pickup. In Game 2, Fnatic, they gave up the Wisp. Liquid, they got the IO Chaos Knight and they dominated with it all game. Trixi, in particular on Batrider, suffered very badly. It was a really rough time for him, getting a very late Blink Dagger and not able to provide a lot for his team. Fnatic, they went for the OD mid, but some interesting lanes by Liquid. They went for a Visage Lifestealer mid lane, which allowed Bulba on Lifestealer to do quite a lot and actually succeed very well, forcing Notail on Earthshaker to support OD mid, which is not a great circumstance. OD depends on those early levels quite a lot. In the end, they couldn't handle the constant relocate ganks, and Liquid was making pretty perfect use of it. It was a superb execution of the Wisp Chaos Knight combo, and just continues to be the case that you just can't give that up unless you've got a very specific strategy for how you're going to deal with it. So, as such, we see the Wisp banned out. Fnatic, they get rid of the Gyrocopter, as well as the Darkseer. A lot of big AoE that they're removing there. And Liquid wrapping it up with a Treant Protector ban, making sure that living armor won't be stopping any dives or slowing down pushes eternally. Fnatic will go for the Batrider once more, hoping to get a lot more impact out of him this game than the previous one, which I think they can certainly do so long as Batrider is not forced to solo against Wisp and Chaos Knight in an off lane. Two big supports picked up right off the bat for Team Liquid. Kind of a risky maneuver in some ways. It allows Fnatic to focus all their bans on mids, semi-carries, and off lanes. But I think Vengeful Spirit and Keeper of the Light are very versatile as far as supports go. You could go aggressive, you could go defensive, or you could even go for some unique dual lane, because we've been seeing, continue to see a lot more of that in 6.78. It just seems to be a lot more common. I couldn't tell you exactly why, outside of just the general changes in picks, but I've seen a lot of 2-1-2s, a lot of dual mids that aren't just Shadow Demon Kunkka or Chaos Knight Wisp sort of deals. And that's across the whole scene too. That's both east and west. It seems to be the case that dual lanes are just much more common. Tri-lane's still probably the most common, particularly defensive tri-lanes to make sure that a particular hard carry is getting all the necessary farm. But it's pretty cool to see that variety come in, and it makes it a lot harder for me as a caster to predict exactly what's going to be happening. I also like Keeper of the Light with Vengeful Spirit, as VS has some mana problems. Magic Missile costs a lot of mana, but it's a pretty high damage stun, and with Chakra Magic from Keeper of the Light in any lane, that's a lot of reliable stun and damage that she'll be pumping out. So I do like that. Plus, it's a good setup. Swap basically guarantees that you can keep someone in Illuminate range, and if Keeper of the Light focuses on getting levels in Illuminate, then that can be really strong. I guess the last thing I'd say about that combo is it's good anti-push. Between Wave of Terror, the Vengeance Aura, and Illuminate, that's just a lot of ways to blow down creep waves, stop pushes, and to increase your own pushing power. So Pretty solid support pickups from Liquid. Fnatic, they'll pick up the Rubik. I think Rubik is pretty good against Vengeful Spirit. It's not impossible to pick up the Magic Missile if your timing is good. She does have the Wave of Terror to follow it up with, so it's not always the easiest thing to pull off. But even Wave of Terror is pretty good for Rubik. It's a very low mana cost and high impact ability, providing lots of vision and minus armor, which is really good for someone like Batrider. So I think off the bat, there's some nice stuff for Rubik to steal in this game, and he could have a lot of impact.
5 seconds remaining.
Both teams banning out some solo mids off the start here, Queen of Pain and Puck. Be curious to see if OD makes another appearance. He's really been more and more common. Oh, there's a ban, so answers that question. Why is Phantom Lancer banned from Fnatic? I think teams have... Phantom Lancer has not been entirely forgotten by teams. He's still picked up once in a while, particularly with Keeper of the Light. Phantom Lancer is just probably the ideal carry to have alongside a Coddle.
Radiant team pick.
But pretty much exactly where Phantom Lancer has fallen off, Naga Siren has taken his place. Naga Siren doesn't benefit quite directly from the Chakra Magic spam as much as Phantom Lancer, but with her mirror images, she can split push really strong, especially because they inherit the Riptide. They can blow through creep waves no problem and deal a lot of damage to towers. And with Keeper of the Light, makes split pushing a lot more viable because of recall. Fnatic will respond with the Anti-Mage, which will really depend on what the rest of Fnatic's lineup, how effective the Anti-Mage can be in this game. Anti-Mage versus Naga Siren in a 1v1 matchup, it's pretty close. As far as pure single target damage and DPS goes, Anti-Mage wins out. However, Naga Siren has 3 very reliable illusions that I think as a whole are probably a lot better than Mantis-style illusions. I can't remember the exact numbers on the outgoing and incoming damage for Mantis-style, but I believe that Naga Siren's mirror images are stronger, and plus they inherit the Riptide as well as the Entangle, so Anti-Mage can have some trouble against the Naga Siren. It will come down to farm, and Anti-Mage is the best farmer, second only to maybe an Alchemist, and or maybe a Doombringer, an uncontested Doombringer. So Anti-Mage should have a farm advantage, but that will depend entirely on the laning phase. Naga's also a stronger laner. Ensnare and Riptide are just really good in lane, and particularly with Vengeful Spirit, that's a lot of minus armor. Big damage. The Chen pickup from Fnatic, they do love that Chen and they play it very well, but there's a lot of AoE damage here for Chen's creeps, and Vengeful Spirit in particular, that's long range damage reduction, armor reduction that makes Chen's creeps a lot worse at tanking tower hits, which is part of what makes Chen so good. You can be really aggressive with Chen's creeps standing up to the tower, soaking up the hits while you take down heroes. That said, with an Anti-Mage and a Rubik, it's unlikely that Fnatic is going to be doing any big dives in the first 5 to 10 minutes. So that may not be as relevant. But there is, outside of the Vengeful Spirit, there's a lot of AoE to take down Chen's creeps. Keeper of the Light, once more, Naga Siren's Riptide and mirror images, and of course the power shot from Windrunner. The other thing about one thing I like about Windrunner versus Chen is that Chen's creeps can provide some easy setups for Shackles. Has to be very careful micro from Notail to make sure that he's not eating a 3.75 second stun or handing that off to anyone else on his team. Liquid finishes it off with a Shadow Fiend. It's a squishy lineup. Pretty much everybody on Liquid, including Naga until she's able to pick up a Mantis Style, and a Heart don't have a lot of HP, but they do have fantastic team fight. The Requiem of Souls is a very strong combination with the Song of the Siren,
5
and
seconds remaining.
that's a lot of AoE.
Reserve time.
With the right combination, they can really be beastly with good execution. I hesitate to call it a wombo combo because they're not completely dependent on the Requiem of Souls to make full use of the song. There's a lot of other setup damage, Illuminate, Power Shot, and the raises from Shadow Fiend, which that's a lot of damage in its own right. Fnatic finishes it off with a Dragon Knight, going for something tanky to stand up to Shadow Fiend mid. Although now that I kind of hope it's not a Dragon Knight mid. But with hanni on Dragon Knight, that would indicate what it is. Because Batrider, he beats Shadow Fiend mid. There's not really a lot of question about that.
5 seconds remaining.
I'm assuming Bulba's on Naga Siren right now, but I would expect him to swap that with Korok, but maybe not. Liquid does every
Prepare
once in a
for
while
battle.
swap up the roles that they play. Running through the lineups. So we're in game 3. Winner of this takes it all. I'm not sure what all actually is because I believe we're still in the group stages. Nevertheless, they take the best of 3. Fnatic on the Radiant side. Era will be playing Anti-Mage. Fly will be on Rubik. Notail once more playing 10. Trixi hoping to recover from his previous performance on Batrider. And hanni on Dragon Knight. For the Dire side, we've got Team Liquid. Fluffnstuff, he'll be playing Keeper of the Light. ixmike on Vengeful Spirit. Korok on Shadow Fiend. Bulba as
30 seconds to
Naga
battle.
Siren mid. I've seen this once before, and it actually worked really nicely. So I'm very curious to see if that's what it's going to be. MSS, stand-in, will be playing Windrunner. So Liquid has not swapped. This appears to be an actual Naga Siren mid. I saw this once before. I can't remember who it was. I believe it
The
was
battle begins.
Arctic. Could have been Pain Gaming. In the American Dota League, there was a South American team that ran Naga Siren mid, and it worked out really well. Naga Siren actually happens to be very strong against a lot of particularly against melee matchups in mid because of her constant nuke spam. I mean, 80 mana for Riptide at level 1, and Naga doesn't have the most amazing mana pool, but if you get a bottle, then it solves that problem fairly handily. So armor reduction plus good auto attack harass from the ensnare really makes Naga a deadly mid, and means that she's getting solo experience, guaranteeing that she has Song of the Siren as soon as possible. A lot of S's in that sentence. It can work, and I think it's going to work very nicely in this lane. I think the only curiosity is just that Shadow Fiend, he does quite well against Dragon Knight too, but they perhaps want to guarantee that Shadow Fiend doesn't get ganked. It's the weakness of Shadow Fiend mid is this, that he has no escape abilities. Actually, there's a stun onto Bulba. Notail, he showed up. There's the telekinesis, pulls Bulba back. Is he going to be able to make it out of this? Can there be a block from the neutral? Oh, there's the Dragon Tail. Can they follow this up with just enough damage? It's actually very tanky. Notail picks up the last hit. And a courier kill. Huge, actually very nice play from Notail, diving the Wild Wing Ripper to get the courier, and having no courier in this game. Yes, that had Bulba's bottle on it. Huge disaster for Liquid, holy shit. Bulba's gonna be having a really hard time for the next 4 minutes. I mean, that courier is out of play for a long time. No way of recovering that bottle until it's back. Wow. So big play for Fnatic early on, and really nice gank. I was not expecting such an early gank, especially with a... It's kind of uncommon to gank with the Wild Wing Ripper because it provides no CC whatsoever. So definitely very unusual. But with the telekinesis and 2 Dragon Tails, that was the really critical part. Hanni stayed on top of bulba and made sure they had the chain stun. So that should give... Actually, here, I need to... Oh, did I disable those hotkeys? I must have. There's hotkeys for... Ah, yes! That's what's going on there. Alright, I need to fix that at some point. Make sure that I can use hotkeys to display those numbers up top. That'll give Hanni a lot of room to breathe here. That said, bulba... He's already ahead in last hits, even with that death. So we'll see if Hanni is able to come out on top. Down at bottom, MSS, he's already actually managed to get 3 levels on his own down here. Which, that's pretty good for Windrunner. Windrunner is not the strongest offlane. Used to be very popular, but in general, especially compared to something like a Darkseer, pretty easy to gank if you have the stuns for it. And that depends entirely upon notail. He's going to have to get something like a net in order to make a gank happen onto MSS. And I like this from MSS. Doing some ancients while he can't stay in the lane. And he really can't approach Era, because otherwise he'll just get mana burned over and over again. Oh, there's a telekinesis onto bulba. He's actually already low on health. Test of faith. One more right click from notail, and he goes down. So notail once more with fly, making these ganks happen on mid, and Hanni's going to be feeling really good about this. Bulba. He is a pretty good... Nagasaren's a good comeback. Good comeback hero. Because of the mirror images, and Riptide can have a lot of impact. Even with a lot of early deaths. And being solo mid can catch up pretty decently. But means that all the farm he's gotten so far is basically meaningless. MSS is doing particularly well compared to Trixi up at top. I like that from Hanni. Not a lot that Trixi can do in this lane. One magic missile from ixmike and he will die, because that basically means an automatic 2 raises from Korok, and that will end his life.
Thank you so much.
With total certainty. Era, he's already picked up his Ring of Health and is on his way to a quick Battle Fury. Actually, there's a potential dive going on here. Fluff applying a lot of pressure to Trixi, making sure that he's not anywhere near. Although, Fluff, you've dove too far. This should be a kill for Trixi. Though he can't quite get the stacks up because he doesn't have the mana. That's actually the problem. If he'd had even just 30 or 40 more mana, he would have been able to pick up a kill on Fluff there.
Top tower is under attack.
Fortify popped on the Radiant side. Want to delay this push top as much as possible. But pretty good pushing combination here. So many ways to blow through the creep wave, and it makes it really hard for Trixi to get anywhere nearby.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So Fly and Notail, they're grouped up once more. Do they have a smoke? I think they've already used the smokes available early on. There are no wards. One thing I would like to see from Liquid is some kind of ward coverage that would spot this gank mid. One unfortunate thing for Fnatic is that great pusher that Chen is not very good versus Keeper of the Light and Shadow Fiend, and can't help out top whatsoever. That said, with the tower down, Trixi will have a somewhat safer time farming, and that's the only place that he has to farm on the map with Chen in the jungle. There's a teleport down bottom from fluffnstuff. They want to put more pressure onto Era's anti-mage. It's okay to let him free farm for a little while, but you can't let him do it for too long. Otherwise, he's just going to merge in 15 minutes and have his Battle Fury, and his farm will be unstoppable at that point. Delaying his Battle Fury is really the goal here. Trixi will have a pretty delayed blink this game. Not as bad as last game. Not having died yet is really the big bonus for him. Oh, there's a smoke up onto 3 here. There's a net from the Dark Troll Summoner, as well as the stun from the Centaur Conqueror. This is perfect creeps for Notail to have. But do they have the damage? That's the big question. For both of the previous ganks, they've had Hanni there, and he's been able to do a lot of damage with his Breathe Fire. Oh, they find Korok. There's the telekinesis. Firefly pop by Trixi. The net ensures Korok goes nowhere. Big kill for Fnatic. That means that Korok is down while Era continues to farm, and Anti-Mage versus Shadow Fiend. I'll let you guess which one comes out on top.
Top tower is under attack.
It's not Shadow Fiend. There is, of course, the Naga Siren, but Bulba, he's already gone down twice this game, and as a result of those deaths, he's fallen behind in a lane that he would have otherwise won. He's still getting something. And he's level 6, so he's got the song.
Haste.
Oh, Era down at bottom? Should be okay. He's already picked up the Claymore. A little over halfway towards his Battle Fury. Should have that in about 3 to 4 minutes, which that's a good timing on a Battle Fury. It's a naked Battle Fury, but nevertheless, still pretty good. Actually, he picks up a solo kill versus fluffnstuff. Oh, ixmike. He gets telekinesed. Net takes a few more auto attacks. Goes down to Notail. Notail's doing so much work in this game, but there's the ensnare onto Notail, but he does have the Hand of God. Chooses not to pop it. Think wisely. Immediate TP out from Fly, and he'll be okay. He's moved his creeps up to the top here. He wants to save them if possible, but nope, doesn't look like it's possible. So he will lose his creeps as well as dying. Does give hanni some time to apply some pressure down in the mid tier 1. Oh, there's the ensnare onto hanni. Illuminate. How much damage can they do? The Illuminate actually does hit, but he's got 9 wand charges. Uses the Dragon Tail, but there's just not quite enough follow-up in time from Fnatic. Era, so close to that Battle Fury, I believe. Nope. Okay, he's actually got another 800 gold to go. Poor Bulba. Even with that that assist up top, I believe that was an assist. Nope, was a kill. Even with that kill, still sitting on naked boots and a bracer as well as his bottle. Notail, he's working his way towards that mech. Fly, with all of his rotations, is still not yet hit 6, but well worth it for what he's providing for his team. Trixi, still not hit 6 yet either. He is doing some stacking here, and with good stacking, he can make up a lot of ground very quickly. This stack will get him his level 6 and get him a good chunk of the way towards his Blink Dagger, and that Blink will be very useful this game. If you can blink onto Naga Siren before she pops to sleep and burst her down,
Not so winded now.
suddenly Naga Siren is a lot less useful. Fluff is in mid.
Could be worse. Oh wait.
It's a solo kill picked up on Rubik. It is just a support, but kills are kills. And MSS picks up the kill there, which that's better than Fluff or ixmike. So another. Oh, there's the shackle. There's a laying their stuns here. This could be a problem, but the Illuminate lands. Hand of God is popped. He's used the wand. He's actually going to make it out. So there's the lift onto ixmike. They're going to find a return kill. Test of Faith finishes him off from Notail. So nice play there from Fnatic. Hand of God. Saving hanni, no doubt. Plus the 10 wand charges really helping out. I think the layering of the stuns there was really the critical mistake from Liquid. The shackle lands, and then the ensnare right on top of it, which are both very long duration stuns. and basically completely wasting the long duration on both of them.
Radiant's
It is
top
so it
tower
is only
under
level
attack.
2 shackle, but that's still 2.25 seconds. It's quite a lot. The smoke up here from Fnatic, they were hoping to find Korok, but he actually rotated down to
Radiant's
middle.
tower is under attack.
So a little bit of perhaps mismanagement for Fnatic could cost them. I don't think that Fnatic will
Radiant's
or
middle
Liquid will
tower
take
is under
the
attack.
mid tier 1,
Radiant's
Pop the
structures
fortify.
are fortified.
delaying this as much as possible. I think Fnatic, they're just kind of content to farm up for the moment. They know that they
Dire's
need
bottom tower is under attack.
a couple more
Radiant's
items
middle
before they want
tower
to take
has
another team
fallen.
fight. Especially given that the sleep is still up.
Dire's top tower
On
is
bulba.
under attack.
Era
Dire's
has
top
finished his
tower
Battle
has
Fury.
fallen.
So his farm is about to get out of control. Top tier 1 also taken by Fnatic, so it's an even trade in terms of towers. Liquid goes straight for the Roach, which I think is quite viable for them. There's no vision here. For Fnatic, they have no way of becoming aware of it either. No long-range scouts such as you might find from a Clockwork. They're having a little bit of trouble doing it because they don't have anybody to tank it, and they also don't have any way of stunning it. They do have the armor. No, they actually there's no presence of the Dark Lord just yet from Liquid, but they do have the armor reduction from Riptide, so that helps out quite a bit. Roche goes down.
Dire's middle tower is
Korok,
under attack.
he picks up the Aegis
Dire's
there.
structures are fortified.
Almost managed to trade the mid tier 1 for Fnatic. Although, there's the net onto notail. Do they have the follow-up necessary? Good micro of the creeps dodges the illuminate. Down at bottom, Era, he's got his Battle Furies. He's blowing through the creep wave. He should be able to pick up the bottom tier 1. While Liquid dances in middle. And
Dire's bottom
Era
tower
manages to pick up
has
the last hit
fallen.
there. He's finished his treads already. He's looking pretty fine. Era could be farming out of control this game. We'll have to see. Because there will not be any such equivalent farm on Bulba this game. Because of his early deaths and the loss of map control through their towers. I don't think... I mean, Fnatic could fairly easily push down the mid-tier 1 in the near future. And if they're able to do that, that's bad news bears for Liquid. Shadowblade, it's the first item pickup on Korok, and I don't know. I tend to favor an early BKB on Shadow Fiend because of how vulnerable he is. I mean, only 900 HP, and particularly against an anti-mage, if Era blinks straight on top of him, especially once he has his Manta style, that's just... You'll have no mana for your Requiem or your Raises.
Dire's middle tower
And without
is
reliable
under
ways to
attack.
interrupt stuns, or to avoid stuns with the Magic community, it can be hard to get a Requiem off. Trixi, he's just picked up his Blink Dagger. So even if Liquid does
Dire's
find him
middle
down here,
tower
oh,
is
there's the
under
Ensnare. Could actually be in trouble here. So Magic Missile, one last right click
Radiant's
from
bottom
Bulba.
tower
He
is
goes
under
down.
attack.
Unfortunate for Trixie.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
But Fnatic, they get the mid tier 1. This is going to open up Liquid's jungle for them very nicely. Liquid may choose to just take the
Dire's
bottom
top
tier
tower
1 down
is
here
under
since they're
attack.
already here, but trading that for the top tier 2 is not a good trade, and the Fortify is not up. Can Fnatic rotate? The sleep is up on Bulba. There's a teleport in from Keeper of the Light, but where's Korok? Korok is still down at bottom. They need him if they want to take this fight. Oh, there's the Ensnare.
Middle tower is under attack.
Stolen by Fly. That's actually a huge deal. That's a great
Is under attack.
spell for him to have. And with that death on the sleep still not used once this game by
Dire's top
Bulba.
tower has fallen.
And 4 TP's bottom.
Radiant's
There's the blink
bottom
forward.
tower has fallen.
Who can Trixie find? Actually, he immediately pops to Shadow Fiend. Korok, he still has the Aegis this game. There's a swap from ixmike to try and delay the damage. There's the Dragon Tail. They pop the Aegis. Telekinesis onto ixmike. He's taking a lot of right-click damage from Hanni. There's the Ensnare. Oh, that steal is so good for Fly. That's one of the best spells he could steal. He pops the Shadow Blade, but they still have vision here because of the Ensnare. This fight is looking amazing for Fnatic, even with the death on Trixie. But there's a DC here from Era, and they definitely need him for this fight. I'll fast forward through this as fast as I can, as fast as the game will allow me. There we go. Okay. Fnatic probably will not continue to take this fight. Era could blink forward and try and... He could get a good mana void and take out MSS. Or perhaps ixmike, but it's just a risky affair. He's still not that tanky. Nevertheless, they take out the Aegis, and they get... they got a kill for that, didn't they? Huh. Well, good disengage from Liquid. I thought... That whole time I thought that Fnatic managed to take a kill. They didn't. So, that was actually a really good fight for Liquid. They managed to take the bot tier 1, and even though they lose Bulba up at top, and the top tier 2, they get a kill on Trixie for their trouble. But since he's already picked up his Blink Dagger, kills on Batrider are no longer as important as they might otherwise be. Similar to getting a kill on Anti-Mage before the Battle Fury, which Liquid has not managed to do this game. And there's a triple stacked Ancients here, which he'll blow through very quickly. He's got a Vlad's already. Going for a little bit more of an early game Anti-Mage build. Maxing out the mana break early on here. Actually, hanni, you could find Korok here. Era, he's coming up. This could be really good for Fnatic. Instant blink in from Era. And they choose to disengage. They don't have the detection necessary. Interesting. I'm unsure if it was just pure luck on the side of Korok that he was able to Shadow Blade immediately after the Dragon Tail. Perhaps Era jumping in just a moment too soon. Bulba's here. He's still got his sleep. It's still level 1, so a very long cooldown. And Era chooses to port bottom. He's anti-mage after all, and there's no reason for him to stop farming if there's a lot of farm available. Fnatic would love to make use of this just wide open jungle they have on the Dire side, with both top tier top towers gone and the mid tier 1 down. The map is wide open for them. I would like to see a Shadow Blade up on hanni to increase their ganking potential. I think Shadow Blade is a very strong item on Dragon Knight. As a result of the range stun he gets through the Dragon Tail in Dragon form, can make for some great surprise ganks with Dragon Knight. Korok, he's managed to do some split pushing up at top. Will he be able to take the tower? The fortify was already used. Shadow Blade's away. We'll be okay. And despite, I feel like Liquid's attempting to make as many trades as they can here, but I think they're falling behind pretty fast. And Gold Gaff definitely shows that, as does the experience. Despite not giving up many kills, Era is able to take all the farm everywhere on the map, no problem. And in fact, he's got his Yasha already. He's looking to have his Manta style potentially in 3 to 4 minutes. Now there's a recall here onto Fluff. Korok gets pulled in, but he doesn't... Well, he gets maned up from Chakra Magic, so never mind. Trixie, they have vision here? I'm not sure. It could just be good game sense for Fnatic. I don't think there's any sentries here to reveal... Oh, Trixie. He gets ensnared. But Liquid, they back off. They don't know where the rest of Fnatic is, and so they don't want to dive hard just onto Trixie, especially when he could easily blink away and leave Liquid in a bad position. They'll opt just to get some damage onto the mid tier 2, and there's no trades here for Fnatic. They've kind of rotated all the way up here, perhaps trying to avoid the gank from Liquid, but the result is just going to be that they're losing their mid tier 2 for not a lot of reason. Perhaps they don't want to fight into the Naga Siren's sleep, but this is the best time to do it. Still hasn't hit level 11, it's still 180-second cooldown, and at this point in the game, that's a lot of room for Fnatic. That said, Fnatic continues to get more out of the map, even
Dire's top
if they're
tower
losing
is
towers.
under attack.
Eric can completely farm the entire jungle on his own. And will continue to do exactly that. Good aggressive ward here from Fnatic. Make sure that they've got the vision necessary to do that. Not a lot of sentries placed anywhere on the map from either team, so smoke ganking could be very effective here. I feel like both teams are looking to find a kill, and they're just not able to find it because they're both on opposite sides of the map, and they don't. Neither team wants to be the first one to back and get caught out. Especially with these the Trixie and Hanni up at top. I'm not sure what they'll accomplish on their own. Kind of a strange game, honestly, right now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Not sure. I believe overall this is favoring Fnatic because Era continues his fantastic farm. But it's definitely not cut and dry. Bulba has hit his level 11, so he's finally got level 2 sleep. He's almost finished with his diffusal blade. Fly, he could be going for a blink dagger this game. We'll have to see. More ancient stacks getting destroyed by Era. Mechanism up on Fluff, that's been there for a little while. BKB coming up on Korok, and he's got his phased drums, so will be decently tanky, and especially once he has that BKB, he'll be able to stand up to Era, at least in the mid game. Can't do it late game, but it's possible in the mid game. Hanni's finished his BKB, has yet to use it. It's still a full 10 seconds for him. Liquid is all grouped up here. It seems like they're really nervous about getting caught by Trixi's lasso. That said, there's no vision here for Fnatic, and this could be a very fast road, especially now that they've got Presence of the Dark Lord and Riptide. A lot of minus armor. Fnatic is headed this direction, though. Could they get there in time? Rosh is already down to 2/3. Dropping very low. I think Fnatic, this could be a bad fight for them. They're not going to get here in time, and they may be pressured into this fight. Can they disengage cleanly? That's the question. Drums are popped. Bulba could use his sleep, and there he goes. He actually gets 4-staffed in. They're going to be able to find 3 here. There's Trixi. Oh, actually, Korok doesn't get the Requiem of Souls off. That was most of the damage for Liquid. Hand of God is immediately popped. Bulba, he goes down to the Mana Void from Era. Era, he doesn't care about the damage from Requiem of Souls because he is anti-mage. So it's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Bulba goes down. Notail, he's actually still alive. Hanni does go down. So it's a 2-for-1 trade. Aegis is already down on Liquid. Really a pretty decent fight. Oh no, Notail. Will he go down? Just one right click? Yes. Oh, 2! He drops the gem. Era does pick up a kill.
The cost of
A slight overextension there from Liquid. It looked like a valuable kill, but they do pick up the gem. I mean, honestly, I think all of those kills probably worth it.
Dire's
Particularly
bottom tower
Trixi
is
getting the
under
gem,
attack.
very important. That's very costly. 850 net worth getting transferred over to Liquid as a result of that. But that is a kill going towards Era, putting him at level 18, which I believe that's the highest in the game right now. And looking at net worth, I think Liquid has to be terrified of Anti-Mage at this point. Yeah, he's a full 3 levels ahead of Korok, and Korok is a full 3 levels ahead of Hanni. Anti-Mage has a big advantage in this game right now, and once he's picked up his Manta style, had it in that last fight, his next item is going to be even deadlier. Kind of have to wonder about the lads a little bit. Like, if he'd had an earlier Manta style, it's possible that Fnatic could have taken a fight sooner. I don't feel like the early game potential of Vlads is offering a lot for Fnatic in this game. That said, that's a minor criticism. I don't think that's going to make make or break the difference of anti-mage in this game, whether or not he chose to get an early Vlad's. I think the most unfortunate death in that fight for Fnatic was hanni. If hanni had lived through that, it would have been a straight win for Fnatic, regardless of other deaths, or even the loss of the gem. But the death of Korok, I mean, that... And really the lack of death of Era means he's just continues to free farm, and he's stealing farm everywhere across the map. There's nowhere that he's not showing his battle fury, or putting his battle fury to use is really what I should say. Ghost Scepter picked up on Fluff. That will help a little bit with some of the damage from Era, but honestly that just makes him a more viable mana void target. ixmike, he's got a point booster, looks to be headed towards an Aghanim Scepter. Interesting choice this game. There's a smoke up onto 3 from Liquid. They've got the sleep once more. They're going to recall Korok in. hanni, he's still got his BKB, but that's not going to do anything against these Share. Very nice, extremely nice Flame Break. Could save hanni's life here. They're pulling them further and further back, closer to the tower. Is this a fight that Fnatic can take? That's the question. There's a swap onto hanni. Gets pulled further and further back, but he's still alive. He's able to tank a lot of this damage, providing a lot of time for Fnatic to rotate. Hand of God will keep hanni alive that much longer. Bulba, he's now extending kind of far. Trixi just didn't quite have the mana for the lasso. Oh, sad days. Good Requiem of Souls combined with a sleep. Gonna make this a great fight for Liquid. It's a 3 for none. What looked to be just so close to an overextension. If Trixi had just had the slightest bit more mana, he would have been able to lasso either Bulba or Korok. Would have been fantastic. But up at top, Era does manage to get a little bit of a trade on the tier 3. Doesn't take it down. Forces rotation back. Although he takes out Korok solo. Era continues to be a just terrifying force for Fnatic in this game. I don't know. I feel like Liquid, they keep taking fights that look fantastic, but they're not killing anti-mage, and they're even like this is great split push from Era. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick up a Boots of Travel after this heart. Yeah, I think Liquid, honestly, that fight was a bit of luck for them. I mean, it was literally just the single digits of mana that Trixi did not have his lasso. But I mean, even still, that's still a solo kill on Korok for Era and a lot of damage onto the tier 3. Fnatic, that's a decent trade for them. Not ideal, but still decent. Era, he's now finished his heart. I'm really starting to wonder how the hell are they going to kill him. He's got the Manta style, so he can go, doesn't have to worry about the ensnare at all. He can just pop that as soon as the ensnare is used. Locking him down is going to be really difficult, especially Windrunner Shackle, also not particularly great against anti-mage because of how mobile he is, because the blink disjoints that. Korok, he's got no solid disable against him. Magic Missile and Swap are probably about as good as it gets, and the ensnare after Manta style has been used. Fnatic, they're smoked up as 3 towards the top. hanni, he's also headed that direction. I think Fnatic realizes that they can be aggressive with the heart on Era. I mean, he can position himself as aggressively as he wants, bait Liquid into a fight that they don't necessarily want to take. Strange choice by hanni there. Oh, they didn't have vision. That was the problem. The loss of that gem was actually quite catastrophic for Fnatic. That would have been a kill onto Korok if they'd had vision there. Good use of recall here, making sure that Fluff's teammates are not dying, and actually making possible a split push, but they probably don't want to do this. The Fortify is already down, and Fnatic has their own Fortify. Liquid cannot make this trade. This could be disastrous. Look at how much damage the Barracks is already taking. There's the sleep popped. hanni still has his BKB. He's standing right on top of Fly. He doesn't want anything stolen in this game. Fly absolutely pops. hanni, he uses his BKB. Era goes straight on top of Liquid, or top of Korok. But the BKB is already used. Shackle does not land. Era, you'll have Manta Style back in 4 seconds. There's the lasso onto Korok. This could be a great fight for Fnatic. Hanni, he picks up the kill on Vengeful Spirit. The Vanovoid finishes off Korok. Era picks up the last hit there, and the top racks is down. This is a huge problem for Liquid. They've got no way of stopping this. There's a swap onto ixmike. Actually, Fly, he fought back, came back instantly in the game. Wow, this could be it.
Barracks are under attack.
I don't know what Liquid can do about this.
Dire's top
I didn't expect it to be such a commanding fight, but really good kiting there by Fnatic. Era stayed on top of Korok, making sure he couldn't apply any more pressure to the rest of his teammates while he had his BKB was up, and then as soon as his BKB was down, Trixi jumps in with the lasso, pulls him back, and it was a great fight for Fnatic. They take the top racks, Era stays alive. All it cost them was a buyback on Fly. Oh, there's a nice stolen Shackle! Wow, amazing Shackle onto MSS and to Fluff. There's a telekinesis onto Bulba, straight back into the Dragon Tail. Era, he's straight on top of him. This damage. They let Anti-Mage farm, and this is how they get paid in return. By unstoppable damage with a carry that they can't take down. There's no way to bring this Anti-Mage down. This could be 2 racks here. I don't know. Without Bulba, they needed that sleep for the combo, and there goes down the second racks in very short order.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Wow. I didn't expect things to turn around quite so harshly for Fnatic. And that looked like a decent fight for them. Although, oh wow. Good break of the very nice use of the Vengeful Spirit swap to break the lasso from Batrider. There's a jump onto Fluff. Oh, Ghost Scepter Mana Void on top of that high intelligence. Oh, there's the sleep popped.
But with greater resolve.
To basically no effect. There's nothing that Liquid can do with this, especially
Dire's
one of the problems of Shadow Fiend. Once he goes down, Era, he eats the ensnare. Yeah, I don't think that Liquid has a lot more to offer in this game. Yeah, Notail goes down. Immediate buyback and use of Hand of God to potentially save Hanni. He's still got BKB. He could turn around if he so desired. Oh, Bulba eats the Shackle. Trixi, he tries to jump in, but he doesn't have a lasso.
is under attack.
Telekinesis used. Trixi will go down. Although the illusions from Era, he takes out Vengeful Spirit, no problem.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He's trapped here for the moment. Oh, but nice BKB usage from Korok. Good Requiem of Souls. This is sloppy by Fnatic. They can't stick around too long here, although there's the telekinesis. It's gonna be allowed. Oh, the Mana Void straight on top of 3, and the Test of Faith
Dire's middle
from
tower
Chen
is under attack.
sends Era back to the base, safe and sound. Fly, he may go down here. In fact, he should.
Dire's bottom tower is
Realistically. Although, Notail's here, he picks up the gem, make sure that isn't given up,
Dire's bottom
which is
tower
important.
has fallen.
So, Butterfly now on Era, yeah, he's unstoppable. Nothing that Liquid can do about him. He could probably 1v5 them at this point. Which is almost what he was doing there before. Yeah, one of the weaknesses of Shadow Fiend is that he, while being a great comeback hero, against a hard carry who is outfarming him by quite a bit, there's not a lot he can do. Especially after he dies. Because he loses his souls, half of his souls, on each death, his damage suffers greatly, and his Requiem, even worse, is completely made irrelevant. There's a lasso on ixmike, good Shackle onto Trixi. Make sure that he can't stay on top. Oh, wasted Mana Void onto ixmike. Totally irrelevant. Yeah, Liquid, I think they're just staying in the game at this point to delay the time rating.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
I'm not sure what the tiebreaker rules are for this game, and you can see they're just delaying it as long as possible.
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
This is what teams do when the tiebreakers are determined by time rating. Well, I could keep casting the play-by-play player. Oh, there's the GG.
Dire's structures
I think they were perhaps hoping that if it wasn't the time rating, hoping for something miraculous to happen, but no chance. Era
Dire's
just got too
middle
farmed. This is
tower
what happens
has
when you let
fallen.
anti-mage farm
Dire's
completely
middle
freely.
tower is under attack. Dire's
By the end of the
middle
game,
tower
15,000 gold, 15,000 experience
Dire's
in favor of
ancient
Fnatic.
is under attack.
Fnatic, they had a good team fight combination, but versus an
Dire's
anti-mage,
ancient is under attack.
anti-mage is not particularly vulnerable to a lot of what Liquid had to offer. The Requiem of Souls does not deal that much damage to him when he's got 62% magical damage reduction, not to mention just being naturally tanky as a result of Heart and Manta.
Dire's
His
bottom
mana burn
barracks are
is
under
really
attack.
problematic for
Radiant
heroes like Naga Siren, as well as Shadow Fiend, who are so mana dependent, and he had mana void targets all across the board. None of the heroes on Liquid are particularly bad options to mana void. So really great game from Fnatic. They once more, I think they outpushed Liquid. Could have been a case of an outdraft. It's kind of hard to say because the Naga Siren mid didn't pay off as a result of the great ganks from Notail, and as well as Fly, because it was always the telekinesis that opened up those ganks. So the Naga Siren definitely didn't pay off. With more farm early on, could have been a different game, especially because, I mean, you have to account for those 2 deaths meant that hanni had a lot more impact. And I mean, honestly, hanni didn't even feel like he was doing that much. He was just eating a lot of damage and buying a lot of time for Era, particularly once he had that BKB. And he was putting his Dragon Tail to a lot of good use, so there was that too. So could have been a case of outdrafting, but I think it was more good rotation from the supports on Fnatic, and always like very, very intelligent trades from Fnatic. Seems like they were always making room for anti-mage to just get further ahead in farm, and because he got such an early Battle Fury, the whole map was open to him for the farming, and that's what he did through most of that game until he showed up as a monster. Well, that's it for me for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. This has been the Thunderfunking Dota Cast. I'm Cranberry Thunderfunk. If you enjoyed, please subscribe to my YouTube, youtube.com/thunderfunking. I also have a Twitch, twitch.tv/cranberrythunderfunk. I cast as regularly as I can, and I am seeking to improve as quickly as possible. Please, if there was something I was doing that was bothering you, or that you see that I can improve on, please let me know, because I super appreciate feedback. In any case, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.